Alright, y'all. I am heading towards home from work, and I just thought I would video kind of the rest of my route just to see if we pick up on anything, and also to try to explain about what I was speaking of earlier with the military convoy video. I have literally lived all over the world. That's no joke. Honduras, Central America, to Spokane, Washington, to Arkansas, to Missouri, to Virginia Beach, to New Mexico, to California, to Texas, you name it. I have lived there. Okay, so what I was getting at is after being married to a military man for quite some time as well, I pick up on things a lot easier than I used to, maybe before I was married. And I also I trust my premonitions and my instinct. So basically, whenever I see these things, and again, I've been here in Texas, and I know I live, like a mile or not even that from a railroad track. So I'm always looking, always seeing. And we have had military convoys, especially when there's been a hurricane or, a drill, as some has stated. But I mean, in this case, those factors don't even come into play, because it's not because those things are happening. It's because my body, my mind, my heart, my spirit, my soul, my consciousness tells me that they are not right. Because others will go by, and they have before, and I have no qualms about them. But there have been quite a few within the last 3 years, I should say, that have really bothered me. I mean, really bothered me. Like, I just feel it in my gut. And you know what they say, you always listen and go with your gut instinct. And not only has my gut told me things, but I have had visions, and I guess some would call them dreams, visions. I am very vivid of things that are going to come to play out here in our world, and very soon. And I am not trying to scare anyone, because we don't have a reason to fear as long as we stay on the level and a vibrational frequency where we're all thinking positive thoughts and lifting one another up and trying to just completely avoid negativity on any level, no matter. And trust me, I know it is hard, and I'm not one to talk, but I'm one of those that is still every single day I'm practicing it. I'm trying every day. I'm trying, because this world is a challenge. It is a challenge. And I mean, I used to say, I wish I could wake up from this nightmare. But the funny thing is, when I woke up, that's when I realized this world was an actual nightmare. Like, I just thought it was a nightmare. Sometimes we have to be brought to our knees, completely brought to our knees and humbled in order to stand again. And, I think everyone goes through a change in their life at their own pace, or as it was meant to be and be played back out. So I can't make anyone accept my thoughts. I can't make anyone understand my circumstances or even where I am coming from. But the one thing that I can do is just put out there the things that I am now familiar with, especially upon my awakening, and the reality that I know is of truth. And trust me, all of those that we used to call conspiracy theorists, I wouldn't say so much that they are even theories anymore. Okay, so I'm going to just put that out there lightly. But the other thing I'm going to tell you is, your world isn't what you think. But when you're ready to understand that your world is not exactly what you think, that's when you will actually understand more in depth of what your reality is. But until then, don't upset your world, and I'm not trying to upset your world. Keep on being you. Just every day, let's all try to be the pleasant versions of us, the pleasant version of you. Because it's hard times we're living in, no matter what. And if you look back, as history, tells us, times weren't always like this, but there was a time when we didn't have the luxury of cell phones, which is honestly, in my opinion, probably not so much of a luxury. But I'm going to utilize this tool for the greater good, let's put it like that. But I mean, when people used to talk to each other, when you used to light a lantern just for light, when you used to work and grow your own garden and crops and raise your own cattle, and people knew how to survive. I mean, they went through, so much. Half of them almost starved to death back in the day. I mean, but they figured out ways to make it work, and they still smiled, and they were still happy, and they still had this light that was within them, even without today's technologies. And it is today's technologies that have gotten us, I believe, in my own mind and heart, in a heap of trouble. I mean, the world's been wiped out plenty of times, I'm here to tell you. It has been. It's been wiped out for evil ways, evil things, and technology. And I don't care who wants to believe the Darwin theory or, the Neanderthals and then blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but we've had the technology way more advanced back way even before the Egyptians. And those great pyramids, there are no pharaoh's bodies buried within those pyramids. There never have been, and there never will be. Those pharaohs were buried in the Valley of the Dead. All of this information is out there and is available for each and every one of you to grasp, hold on to, read, acknowledge, and understand. It is not a conspiracy theory. These are all factual things. And these ancient bloodlines, they go way, way back. And your Rockefellers and your Bilderbergers and your idiots that all have that bloodline, they're idiots for a reason. They've been running your world before you were ever even born. And they're going to continue to run the world until people start to wake up. And until everybody wakes up, nobody's going to see a thing. And that goes for not seeing what I see, such as the military convoys, or just the in particular circumstances of each and every individual day that I go through. And there is always some sort of a phenomenon, as they would like to call it, or anomaly, because that just means I don't know crap when they say that. They just don't know, so they just dub it anomaly. But we are seeing these things, all of these things that are going on right now and unfolding right before our very eyes, including Morgellons disease, which, by the way, the targeted individual, the Morgellons disease, and the UFO phenomenons, all three of those and more are linked together, in my opinion. All of it. It is all one and the same. It is all part of the Great Awakening, but also part of us trying to begin to see the true light and the truth of what is going on. And my friends, I'm telling you, there is much going on. And if you all haven't checked out Matthew LaCroix yet, I urge and beckon you to do so. Some of you may be ready for it, some of you may not be, but I do urge you most definitely to check that out. And also, Woodward TV. Jay Woodward is phenomenal. He knows his stuff. He's very, very intelligent and knows what he's doing. Mud Fossil. I believe it's Mud Fossil USA, if I'm not mistaken. He is also very wise, because everything around you that you see was once living. Let's put it like that. And this falls into the biblical aspect too, for those of you that are Christians or in the church, or whatever you want to call yourselves. But I mean, all of this was written. It was. Okay, I'm going to just leave it at that. It was all written. It was in your stone tablets in Samaria that were found. I mean, everywhere you look, no matter what the belief is, all of this was written. And all of this that they speak of when it comes to the quote-unquote end times is playing out right before your very eyes. But the end is not the end, my friends. It is just the beginning. And the world will be a brighter, better place soon, but just not soon enough. And we all are here for a reason, and because I know most of you that are on my channel, you're seeking answers. There's a reason you're here. It's not just because you watch Star Trek one day and you're like, that's cool, I'm gonna go check this out. It's because something sparked your attention, no matter what it may be, or even the Morgellons ordeal, something brought you here. You were brought here because you are seeking truth. Because believe it or not, you are actually truthers. You're warriors. I'm gonna just tell you right now, all of you are warriors. Some of you may be here, maybe not for that reason. Maybe you just happened upon this page for whatever reason. But I'm telling you right now, if that is your circumstance, I need you to take this and run with it. And just consider that right now you're understanding and getting most valuable information. And again, even though I don't have the answers, because nobody does, what I do have are factual circumstances and pieces that have been sprinkled throughout history and left for us to find and understand. And it's all there for the reading and the seeking if one chooses to look. But we have to take the time to look. Otherwise, we're going to be the naysayers. Well, that can't happen. Well, this, that, and the other. Well, you know what? Everybody said that UFOs weren't real. And then, what? Just not even a few months ago, the U.S. government comes out and says, yeah, they've been seeing them for years. This I already knew, but some may not have known that. I've been saying forever that the see you later 19 years, because I have to put it like that, was also coming. And I said that probably a year and a half ago. And guess what? It is here. And I've also said that I've had dreams, and I mean vivid dreams, of the U.S. being almost demolished with, I want to say UN soldiers, maybe Chinese, I'm not certain. I see red and blue on the ground here, and destruction everywhere. People hiding and hunkering down, and others being hauled away. And what I would call some in those coffins, I guess, and some in being put into cages by martial law. And that's what I have seen. And I'm praying I'm wrong, but I also have been told by others that there are quite a few out there that have had the same visions and dreams. And so I'm not telling you like I'm some guru in this or that or the other, because I'm just as normal and human as the rest of you. But sometimes when you're open to the reception, it comes. And that's all I can tell you. It just comes. Because like I said, ask me a few years ago, and I would have never believed not any of this, none of it. But the day that my body started doing things that were not even possible according to what we were conditioned to believe, and hence the word conditioned, was the day my life changed. And it has changed, folks. And it has changed towards the truth and the reality of what it actually is and what all of our lives actually are. But until we open our eyes and we choose to see that, we're not going to see anything other than the tips of our noses. I love you guys. I really do. Not trying to scare anyone. And just remember, at the end of the day, I'm no different than anyone. I just happen to be open to the reception, and that is all. Not perfect, never gonna be perfect, but I'm trying to be the best version of me that I can be each and every single day. And though I do stumble, I still get back up, I still dust myself off, and I still pick my chin up and I wipe those tears away and I keep on going. Because that's what we're supposed to do, because we are warriors.